All right. Welcome. I couldn't get that screenshot off the screen. Welcome to the Peak Wellness Hour. We're so excited to be here with you. I'm gonna say this real quick. Queen Edith and I had a conversation about how we're gonna bring this energy to you all. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, you are here with the Peak Wellness Hour every Saturday, most of the time, with myself, Angelina, aka Queen G, with Professor, Pastor, Queen, everything, Edith. We're so excited to bring this conversation to you. So I tell you what, do me a favor, do us a favor, grab a pen and paper. We are doing small steps with big changes. Okay, so when you see things kind of shift in our broadcast, we are making small steps for big changes. So grab a pen and paper. We're going to take a second to bring in the intro. And this week, I think we're going to allow Queen Edith to just come on and bring us in when we come back. What you think, Queen? Let's bring that energy. Let's go. All right, we are live. Queen.
Hello, everyone. This morning, like Queen said, we are taking small steps in order to achieve big goals. So I want to ask you, have you ever in your life set a goal like you want to get in shape like me? Or you want to get healthy? Or you want to even get some kind of education and giving up so quickly? I know you're familiar with that, right? Beginning of year goals, right?
Mhm.
Let me tell you, today this is what we are talking about, making small steps for massive results. Of course, I am Edith. Queen G calls me all kinds of names, but I am Edith, Edith, simply. And with me is Queen G. Behind the scenes, we know is King Sean, always supporting and pushing and urging us on. And this is small steps, big changes.
Mhm.
Small steps, big changes on the Peak Wellness Hour. Invite a friend. And to all our friends and lovely, consistent viewers, fans, loved ones, queens and kings, thank you for being so patient with us. We know this will be worth your while. So, like Queen said, grab a pen, grab a paper, turn your phones to record, and let's move forward and have a great time, Queen.
All right. Well, I can't say too much because this is one of your topics that you chose, and I don't we all love to see Queen Edith just flow like she does. I love flowing with her. Don't you all just love that the energy? If you do, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not, and make sure you share. So small steps, big changes. Like I said, this is something that Queen, she has taken the time for the past 4 weeks to bring us topics that make a difference and impact and empower our lives. So this is one of her topics. I will say that again, we're making small steps for big changes. So as we revise, stick with us. I will say that I had a time this morning with Facebook trying to um, broadcast and set up our lives for our Facebook pages. Um, so I want to encourage you all to make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Part of our changes are going to come because I know on Facebook with the music that we use, if you all followed us from the beginning, you'll know that we've changed our intro music and certain things because of stipulations with copyrights, and that's fine. But we want to make sure we have a platform where we can all connect and stay informed and continue to network and grow together. So we love our Facebook family, but at the same time, please go ahead and subscribe to our Peak Wellness Hour YouTube page because we certainly want to grow with you all. Part of small steps and making big changes, we've talked about processes. I think every time we have conversations, the word process pops up more times than not. Would you all agree? Because everything we do in life is about a process. And I was thinking about a couple of things earlier where, we all know the saying, you have to crawl before you walk. You have to walk before you run. And I thought to myself what that meant. When you have a baby that is crawling, first of all, they're not. And then somehow they wind up crawling and then learning to walk. I thought about, and I looked up the different expressions of babies. Okay. So follow this. Smiling indicates happiness and contentment. Cooing or gurgling are signs of contentment and desire for social interaction. Frowning can indicate discomfort, frustration, or fatigue. Crying, primarily with the baby, is a means of communication, signaling hunger, tiredness, or need for attention. Wide-eyed stare or in round mouth indicates excitement to play with parents or others. Grimacing is a discomfort such as gas or teething, pain, something like that. And then raised eyebrows indicates surprise or interest. I'm bringing on this up to say this. When you have babies and infants and toddlers that are not able to communicate verbally, there are nonverbal signs to indicate what's going on, okay? What they're trying to express. So when you have babies that are crawling and then they're learning to walk, a lot of those expressions that you see, the cooing and the gurgling, the smiling and the excitement, is based off of that parents or that authority's excitement. So if I'm excited because my child is starting to walk and I'm clapping and I'm jumping up and down, it's that social interaction, that cooing and gurgling, that smiling, that contentment that babies have, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn how to crawl before we walk. A lot of times when we're doing small steps for big changes, we are waiting for someone else's approval.
Oh.
We're waiting for someone else to clap their hands and jump up and down. And we respond by the, oh, and all these feelings. But eventually, we're designed to walk. We're designed to stand on these two legs. It is the process. So I think a lot of times the motivation comes, or the lack thereof, comes from outward influences. So my question is, these two legs are meant to walk. Are you going to take small steps to make big changes? Queen?
So, Queen, I love the analogy of the baby, and the baby does things and they don't seek anybody's approval.
Mhm.
It's instinctive. They know what they have to do when they have to do it, and they do it. Even when you tell them no, they know they want to do it, they have to do it, and they're doing it.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. I want to ask this question. It's a poll. I don't know how many are watching us, but it's a poll I want to do. What is your goal vibe? Okay. Number one, I want to crush it, right? We crushing this. Come, let's go. Number two, you are struggling through it. Number three, you are one of those who are planners. You need to sit down, strategize, plan. Okay, plan it. So, what is your goal vibe? What is your goal vibe? I like to hear it. I like to see it. Okay, but let's dive into why small steps are game changers. Okay, number one, small steps reduce that overwhelming feeling and help you build momentum through your small gains.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So let's just say, for example, I set a goal that I want to finish reading this book, but I have so much going on for me or in my life that it's difficult to do it. So I decide that this is what I'm going to do. How about every day? I will take every day and probably read just a page. The page might overflow to the second page because of where the full stop is.
Hmm.
So if that's the case, I'll stop at the last full stop before I have to open the page and then move on. But the more I read it, because maybe I haven't been reading for a long time, I don't even think I'm going to enjoy it. So whilst I'm reading that paragraph or two, I'm holding my phone on the side and I'm reading, I'm distracted. But I read a paragraph today, a page tomorrow, 2 pages, and then I get into the flow because I'm beginning to enjoy it. Now that I've started getting a certain level of fulfillment from reading that page, that success, oh, I forgot how good it felt to
Hmm.
read, sit down with a book and just read. Now that I'm beginning to enjoy it, it's easier for me to pick it up and do it. And now I can do a little more than a page or a paragraph. That is small steps.
Hmm.
Maybe your goal is to exercise for whatever reason. You want to exercise. So rather than say, I'm going to walk an hour every day, why don't you say, I'm probably going to open YouTube and match in my house? Look for a YouTube exercise and start watching within my house. Then the next time, maybe, well, the weather is nice. Why don't I just walk 10 minutes outside? And you begin to develop a love for this little thing you're doing. Once you begin to develop the love and you're not overwhelming yourself with, oh, I have to walk 1 hour every day, 1 hour every day, or 1 mile every day, and you're struggling with it, you're in pain. You don't want to go the next day.
Hmm.
Taking those little steps and eventually seeing that your legs are feeling lighter, feeling that it's becoming easier. It's a success, it's a successful foundation on which you can continue to build on little by little. That's what I mean by removing that overwhelming feeling by starting small.
Hmm.
Queen.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like some of our overwhelming feelings begin in the mind. You know, you have to go to work. You need to clean your house. You need to cook. You these are things you have to do. You need to work out, whether it's in your home, walking out, whatever it is. You need to do these things. In the mind you say these things and it automatically is just like, oh my gosh, and it's disarray for a lot of us. It's kind of like walking into your home and just starting to tear stuff up. You're throwing
Mm.
papers. I mean, you were just causing disarray in our own minds. And I
I
will
would,
say,
mhm.
go ahead. Oh,
No, I
I'm
was
sorry.
saying I was right here. I was just
Oh,
saying
okay.
I'm right here.
You're fine, Queen. Yeah, I think we a lot of times we set ourselves up for psychological chaos. When, again, like she just said, those small steps. Remember a couple weeks ago, you were talking about doing daily journaling. And you were talking about, the night before, write things down, provision for day by day. And I mentioned, I wasn't counteracting, but I mentioned planning out for the month or the year, a bigger time frame in the same token. Because a lot of times what happens is we know we have to do all these things every day, day by day. So when you break those things down, what does it look like in a few weeks, in a few months, in a year, in a few years? I think when sometimes we set goals without an end goal. Does that make sense? I used to run track. So if it's ready, set, go, this is the mark we all start on. Now, the individual run is just what it is. But you don't keep running without knowing that there is a finish line. A lot of us are setting goals, and even with small steps, there's no end game. I'll just keep doing this. I'll just keep doing that. This bothers me. This is difficult. This is challenging. This is rewarding. But what are you doing it for? So when we do the Peak Wellness Hour, that's why, I give Queen all her accolades. It's a lot of titles. But like she said, she's Edith. Edith. At the end of the day, my Queen Mother says that. I know who I am. I'm Rhonda. It's knowing yourself. And so what is your end goal? All these titles mean nothing because it is overwhelming. In the end, what's the sum of it all? And I think having a mindset of success and completion in this race allows you to set small goals to accomplish many things. If I'm doing Peak, I'm doing Clearest Conscious, I'm doing UEOA, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What is the end goal? So day by day, I'm setting goals to balance out all these things I do. But what's the end goal? How do you connect these things where you're centered and you're grounded and it all makes sense? So my point to that is when you're making these small steps, make sure you're walking in purpose, on purpose. I'll leave it at that.
So it's interesting because, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's interesting because you can't even set a goal when you don't have a greater agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way I'll say you have a bigger picture. You have a bigger picture. Let's just say for the year 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And then you break it down into, let's just say, 4 quarters, right? Into 4 quarters, because 3, 3, 3, 3. What do I need to achieve in these 3 months that will take me towards the end of the year? And then you break it down to month by month. What do I need to do every month? How does my month need to end for it to follow through, run through into the next phase? So phases. And then the weekly goal. And then the daily goals. So it has to be something. You have to have something you're working toward. You want to lose 50 pounds. When you think about 50 pounds, you may be overwhelmed. But what if you can, what can I do? What can I do to get to the 50 months every day? So in 50 pounds in 10 months, it means 5 a month. 5 pounds a month for 10 months. It's doable though.
So let me ask you a question, Queen. So when you do that, with that example, when you do that, so 5 pounds in, you said what? How many months?
A month.
5 pounds a month. So that's the goal. So how do you accomplish the 5 pounds?
So let me keep going. So you decide, In the month, 5 pounds. How much do I need to lose a week if that's feasible? Maybe 1 pound, 1.25. It's not something you cannot achieve. Now you have to sit down. How do I ensure that I'm losing 1 pound a week at the minimum? 1 pound a week. What habits do I need to develop? Because when you sit down, oh my God, 50 pounds, it's a lot. You will end up not. Let me read something from this book.
Love it.
Tiny changes, remarkable results. It says, it is so easy to overestimate the importance of one dividing moment or defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Small improvements on a daily basis. Too often we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. Whether it is losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvements that everyone will talk about. You know, this month, our theme for the church is foundations. My theme for teaching individual therapy or group therapy at work is also foundations. It's very, very deliberate. The biggest foundation, the biggest place you need to focus on your foundation and develop it is in your mind. It's in your mind. You're thinking you have this huge goal of maybe building $1 million business. What do you need? The first step you need to do is to find out, how do I even register a business? Okay, how do I register the business? After I've registered the business, what do I need to do to reach that? From the beginning, you may be the only person working the business. And maybe have 1 or 2 people help you virtually. Okay, but you study. You learn about the business. You learn the industry. You study people who have done it. It's little by little. That $1 million business will not happen in 1 year. You're looking for massive profit in 1 year. By your habits, every single day. So this writer is saying that by improving 1%, by improving by 1% isn't notable. The most difficult thing about those little changes is that you are unseen. Let me say it again. Foundations, nobody looks at a building and thinks about the foundation. The foundational values, the foundational principles, the little habits, the little changes, nobody sees them. So it becomes difficult because we want to be known and we want to be seen. But it is the unseen that develop and bring about the seen. So you need to change, like Edith here. I want to lose weight. I promise you I'm not eating right. I know that. Okay. But I've started walking. And I find out that the more I walk, the more I feel good about myself. I become mindful of how I'm feeling so good that I'm being careful what I'm putting in my mouth. So the question is this. We want to be noticed, but these shiny changes, nobody sees it. A lot of the time, somebody lose 1 pound and nobody sees it. Especially the people closest to you. They see you every day. They don't see that 1 pound. Whether you lose it or not. And sometimes you've done it for a month and you've seen no results. Doesn't mean there's no change. The change is in the character. The change is in developing substance and character, which will ultimately pay off. Our problem is we are looking for payoff too quickly. Ken, welcome. We are looking for payoff too quickly. But these tiny changes are invisible to everybody. Only you know. But they are the most important thing you will build, Queen.
Absolutely. Welcome, King Sean. Before he chimes in, I want to say this. That is why I brought up the conversation, the analogy with the babies. Because a lot of times we're adults, we're grown-ups, but we have to remember that we are always in the process of learning and growing. So being a grown-up is not the end all be all. And so when it comes to maturity, a lot of times, a lot of us, out of circumstances and lack of understanding, lack of resources, lack of whatever it is, we remain very immature in our lives, in our walk in our lives, and we are infantile in some things. So when you mentioned wanting to have $1 million business, if you have a business, of course you want that's always the goal is substance, right? But if you are in the negative in all your accounts because you don't pay your bills, because you're not financially responsible, so I'm saying you have this dream, you have this awesome idea, something that's a bestseller idea, but because of how you move, even if you have the opportunity and the gift to be blessed with financial resources and start something, you wouldn't equivalent to $1 million company because you don't understand how to properly move with your finances as far as responsibility. That's what we mean by small steps. You can have a great idea, you can have the money for it, but how many people have won the lottery and all of a sudden and they're broke? More people have won the lottery that are broke. You have a lot of entertainers that are broke because of misappropriation, because again, that end goal is not making any sense. We have to take small steps, and that's why I use that analogy. A lot of us are really immature in the way we proceed in life to succeed in life, if that makes any sense.
It's so interesting you say that because it's so important that you learn what you have to know your strengths and your weaknesses. What don't I know? What do I need to learn? Where do I need to improve? King.
Oh.
Great morning, great morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
You can hear me loud and clear on this Saturday morning.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Welcome everybody, and my apologies. I'm actually in a public place here, so I can't get very loud and animated like I would love to be. But so far, just some great stuff here, and I just want to piggyback off as far from what you said. So, actually, before I even do that, if you can just kind of fill me in on the last thing, because I believe our topic is small steps, big steps. Correct me if I'm wrong. The title once again.
Yes.
Big changes.
Small
Small
steps.
steps, big changes.
Yes, 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 yes. Professor Edith, I love how you are studying as far as on the atomic habits by James Clear, because that's what he really talks about. And you know, I said this before and I'll say it again. We're in a time right now where people want instant gratification. They want those big changes right away, immediately. But we all know that's not how the way life works, right? So, in my experience, I have definitely learned that when you take small incremental steps, then what happens over time, that's when the big changes truly comes into play. And something that is even small is like even like the morning routine. What you do in the morning is very, very important. So at first glance, it doesn't seem like it's really big, astronomical, nothing earth shattering, right? But just those small little steps, just a shift, if you will, something very small and micro, it actually leads to something big. I'm going to go ahead and give you, ladies, a quick example here.
Do me a favor,
With
King, before you do, are you able to move somewhere a little more quiet because we want to hear it? We want to hear all of it.
Um, yeah, I don't want to go outside because it's going to be very, very noisy, like very windy. So that's why I was asking, like, is my volume good?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's a lot of background.
Let me see here. What about right now?
It's better. It's slightly
Okay.
better.
It's slightly better, but it's still a lot of background.
It's slightly better.
Slightly better. Well, hey, this show is live, it's raw, and it's authentic, right? But I'm gonna try to go ahead and do my best here. Okay, so in the case of hypnotherapy, as an example, when I work with clients, right, and we are going through the steps, going through progression, going through relaxation, and certain other things, here.
Yeah, the noise was
Can't
getting
hear you.
louder. No, he
Oh,
muted.
Oh,
okay. I may have to may not I may have to jump off pretty soon. I'm gonna try to go ahead and do my voice my best and do this quick point. So in hypnotherapy, the way it works is this is that the whole ultimate goal is all about really providing clients as far as with a safe space and also to work on if there's any issues. So what happens more times with suggestibles and with the suggestions, I'm sorry, and with the sessions, what happens is that these are small incremental steps in terms of the subconscious mind, because it's all about reprogramming of the mind. So when it comes to with this theme here, it is small steps, right? But what it's doing is implanting and reprogramming those particular habits or particular thought patterns, if you will. So over the course of time, what happens is that through the art of repetition, then that's when people really start seeing the gradual growth because it happens subconsciously, such as, let's say, for instance, if you had an issue of being very pessimistic, as an example, by using hypnotherapy as a modality, what happens over the course of time, you notice it can be in a matter of days, it could be a matter of weeks or a matter of months. But what happens now is that your thought process becomes a little bit more positive when it comes to certain situations. And which that can be very, very big, especially from a person that maybe for the majority of their life, they've been very pessimistic due to their environment, due to the people that have been very influential in their life. So that's actually an example of something small changes or big steps or big growth, if you will. And so I just think that the reason why this topic is very, very paramount and important, and I apologize for the background noise, is because of the fact we have to be willing to do the small steps, right? We have to be able to really do the little things in order to get to the big goals that we're truly aspiring to be. As entrepreneurs, one of the things I learned in this industry, being in for about 15 years, right, is that yes, everybody wants the big goals, right? Everybody wants the big cars. Everybody wants the big residual income. Yes, everybody wants that ultimate time freedom. Of course, absolutely. That's the big goal. But what are you doing during the course of the day? What are you doing as of right now to really set yourself? Right? Are you taking the small goals, right? Are you reaching out and prospecting as far as the customers on a daily basis? Are you creating the content on a regular basis to really get yourself out there? Are you doing the studying? Are you doing the learning? Are you doing the growth? These are small little increments and steps, if you will, right? It may not immediately be the big goal, the big thing, but what it's doing is setting you up for the big steps. I want you guys to think about it as being like a ladder, if you will, if that makes sense. And more people are coming in, so I'm gonna have to hop off. But I think what I'm gonna do, ladies, I think I'm gonna do a podcast of my own when I get home and talk more about this. But
okay.
I will land my plane, if you will.
Well, I
Take it
tell you
away,
what,
Queen.
before you go, King Sean, thank you for your input. Make sure you let all them know in the background, since they were a part of the show. Make sure they subscribe to the Peak Wellness Hour on YouTube. All right,
Absolutely.
thank you for your input, King.
Absolutely. I'm going to go on Facebook and go ahead and do that as well. Just promote
Okay,
it. Just, I got you later.
let us know. Let us know. You all follow Sean A. White on social media. Yes, yes. Okay, Queen.
So there is no you see, I feel like the reason why we want to see something huge, or we want to see it huge quickly, is just is that gratification, that pleasure center. Okay. But success, huge success, requires somebody who has developed a certain level of substance and character to keep it when it gets there. So these slow habits that you begin to form, because they become a habit, it becomes second nature because you are practicing it every day. Like the exercise thing, walking 15 minutes every day for 1 month, 15 minutes of your day for 1 month. As you keep doing it, it becomes a habitual thing. You begin to develop the stamina. You begin to develop the capacity. Okay, so the small steps are capacity building. This thing about instant gratification, what that thing is doing is that we are just cooking ramen noodles and eating it without having real nutrition. It's easy, it's quick. We are eating a lot of processed foods. Guess what? It's sodium is used to preserve it. But just imagine if you have to cook, you have to prep. Then you have to have you have to have the grocery list, know what you need, and then go to the grocery store, purchase the items, come and prep, cut the onions, cut the tomatoes, cut the peppers, cut the this, prep everything. It takes time. It takes time. Marinating the meat or the chicken or whatever protein you're using, marinating it, letting it sit in the seasoning. My mother will cover it and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. Oh, or even when you put everything in there and slow cooker, right? It slowly takes time. So the juices, the seasoning, oh man, the flesh falls off the bone. It's not this rush food we eat. Everything that you take the time to let it marinate. That's what these small steps does for you. Small, consistent, daily. We have to be careful. You have to be diligent with it. Consistent, daily practice. So it becomes second nature to the point that it is automatic now. It is automatic. Now I get up, I don't think, I just put my clothes on, I'm going to walk for 15 minutes. Whether it's in the house or outside or wherever, it's become nature. If I don't do it, something is missing. That's where it begins. And 15 minutes a day might not do much for me, but I'm developing and building muscle. These small steps will help you develop muscle. So, what do you say? You set what we call the SMART goals: specific for S, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, T for time bound. So, you don't set a goal indefinitely. And there has to be time attached to it. So, you can work diligently, consistently, daily. If God were to make Peak Home Care the biggest home care agency in Indiana within 1 year, I promise you, it will fall apart. Queen says something very powerful. So many people cry for money. They win the lottery. And because they don't have the capacity to handle that amount of money. They have no plan. They have no plan for it. They have no strategy for it. And they haven't developed substance. They go back to where they started from within a short period, and they wonder, where did all that money go? It's not about how much you have. It's what is your capacity to handle it. So you have to be smart. You have to be very specific. Like I said, 15 minutes a day for 1 month. That's specific. I can measure it. It's 15 minutes. It's every day. It's for 1 month. It's measurable. Okay? I can achieve it. I don't care how busy I am. I can take a walk 15 minutes. Sometimes, even your lunch break, you eat your meal, you take out, instead of sitting and talking somewhere, you just take a short, it doesn't have to be brisk. Just take a walk, enjoy the weather for 10 to 15 minutes. It is achievable. No matter how busy you can find, even if it's 5 minutes, short 5-minute walks, you can still do the 15 minutes. When we are fasting, I tell my people, I know nobody can pray. I say you pray 1 hour a day. Nobody can take it. Many people can't because it's time consuming, it's distracting. What about every 2 hours? Take 10 minutes, get into the word, read 5 minutes, and use the word to pray. Father, I thank you for this word. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, every hour, every 2 hours throughout the day. It will amaze you. It will amaze you. So the goal is not to reach the top or to reach the final goal, but the goal is what you're becoming, who you are becoming, the discipline you are developing. So when it becomes huge, you have already developed the capacity to manage it and to run it. Green.
I love it. I love it. And, you say that toward the end. I think when we think about goals, it's not just one thing, So when we're setting goals, so say we're talking about $1 million company that's successful. Well, you reach that goal, but before you reach that goal, you reach the goal of, making 6 figures. You reach the goal of starting. You reach the goal of, initiating the LLC. So different goals are met. So now you have this $1 million company that's thriving. So now what's the next goal? Do you help other people? Do you invest? Do you build legacy? So when we're speaking about goals, it's never ending, just like learning, just like growing. It's never ending. Wisdom, knowledge, that's what wisdom is, is always expanding, always being open to expand. That's wisdom. Knowledge, you can know how to do it. Wisdom, you know how to move in it. So a lot of us know things, but we're not moving as though we do. I hate the saying, if you know better, you do better. That's not true. There are plenty of criminals that know better now, and they just do different. They don't do better. They do better at their craft and their crime. So when you know better, you don't always do better. It's certainly a choice. You talked about 15 minutes just walking. It's measurable. And like you said, doing just those committed to those 15 minutes you might not feel the muscle tone or the weight loss, but in your mind, there's a shift. That habit, we talked about hormones and, all that stuff, how the body works internally. You all can go back and watch that, right? But it shifts something in your habits. And because you can do 15 minutes consistently, you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I was complaining about this, but this is nothing. Let me do 30. Let me do an hour. And the next day you say, I did that hour. These legs are hurting. I'm going to go back to 30 minutes. I skip the next day. I can do 15. I can do 30. We have to be someone setting realistic goals. We have to be realistic. And when we feel that we fall short of our own goals and our own expectations, it is we that condemn and beat up on ourselves, and we're hard on ourselves. Did nobody say to Queen Edith, well, girl, did you go walking today? Well, how long did you walk? How many steps did you get in? No, it's us getting up and saying, hey, I said I was going to do this, but I didn't. I'm going to tell my husband when he's at work, I'm going to go ahead and get this walk in. I'm not, because I'm off today. We beat up on ourselves about that. So make it realistic. And when, for whatever reason, you don't meet that daily goal, like Queen Eve talked about, if you get another day, that in itself is a blessing. Try again. And it's okay to try just a little bit harder. But if you can't try a little bit harder, just try again. Today, I don't 15 minutes. Did an hour yesterday. I don't feel like doing 15 minutes, but I can do 5. It's something to say that I'm committed to what I've signed up for. I'm committed to what I want. I'm committed to my success and my progress. And that's all it is. That's all it is. Queen?
I want to say something to what you said. You see, a lot of the times we do things to impress people.
Mm-hmm.
So we can also have something to say. This pleasing people, being public, being seen, feeling validated. Sometimes it's becoming a problem. People, like I said, foundations, when you're developing these habits, you are invisible. Nobody sees foundations.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody sees those. So you're doing it so you can tell your husband something. You're doing it so you can tell your girlfriend something. You're doing it so, and sometimes you don't do it and you will lie because you're doing it for the wrong reasons to impress.
Right.
The key is make it realistic for you. Realistic for you. I started working, I told you, right? And when I'm at work, it doesn't matter where. You sit a lot. Okay. So every an hour or two, I will get up and just walk around. Just walk around. 5 minutes. We at work, don't we have 15-minute breaks before lunchtime kind of thing? Take a walk. Even if it's talking on the phone, walk. Walk around, move those legs. See, I work with seniors a lot. And I watch some of them wish they would just be able to get up and go. But they can't. So think about the things you're taking for granted right now in your life. Think about them. Okay? The next point, I want to ask you, our viewers, what is a goal you can make smart right now? You can be specific about it. It is measurable, it is achievable, it's realistic, and you can set a time limit to it. You see, we are getting to the end of the year. The beginning of the year dash, you're setting goals and running after it. Lasting 3 months, if we are lucky. Start now. Why wait? Procrastinate. Start now. By the time you get to January, you're already in it. Okay. And King Sean said something before he said off. He says, small goals is like a ladder. You said small goals, you have a big goal. But even when you get to the big goal, you realize that there is more. There's always more. So taking the steps is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe there's a landing. You rest there a little bit. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you see higher over there. You see more. That's why we are not, but we are constantly becoming. We are constantly becoming, because if I want to be a business owner, and now I've owned the business, what is next? Queen said, it's walking in. Wisdom is being able to walk, move in, move within. And though you set a goal to do that or to achieve that education or whatever, in the process, you the person. It's not the end goal that makes the much of it. It's who you become in the process. It's who you become. The mindset to wake up every morning and make your bed. For me, that's where it all starts. And make your bed. My friend says, Edith, you are OCD. I I clean my bathroom before I leave my house. I do. Even my private one, I do. It's something that gives me a push for my day, and I don't know why, but it gives me, as soon as I make my bed, I know I'm ready. What are the little things you can do that can urge you? If I decide to linger in bed, like on a Saturday morning and linger in bed, everything is delayed. Everything is delayed. So there has to be some level of routine. You have to commit to yourself. I was teaching sometime last week about core values. Why are they core? When you go to a personal trainer and they look at me, we need to strengthen your core, your backbone, the ability for the skeleton on your back to stand and do effective work, be strong, depends on the strength in your core. Your core values are what holds you up. What are your core values? Those are the things that develop your small habits. Maybe one day we'll go into core values. It sounds to me like we've done it before, but. So I want to ask you, dear friends, fans, and followers, what is a goal you can make smart right now? What is a goal you can make smart right now? Maybe like me, you're not on top of your bills. What about we all set up a spreadsheet or write down something, have a calendar and write the dates, maybe a week before every bill is due. We make it due a week before. So we have it in view. Because some of us, we have to get a call. Or we just reminding that your bill is past due. You have about 5 days grace. Some of us, that's what we depend on. But what if I get a bill, I open it? I have a friend, she goes to a mailbox every Sunday. She sits down, goes through her mail, look at what every bill, look at what date is due, writes it out, and then so she does that on a Sunday, every Sunday. And then during the week, during the month, she's planning. This is due this is due that. So she sets it out that if it's due on 7th of, let's just say 7th of November, she writes out it's due on 1st of November. So she's working and paying ahead of time. When you are seeing it, making it clear, it's easy for you to follow a plan. How many of us have smartphones? We can set reminders, pay this today, pay that today, pay that today. So that when you get the money and you're spending, you know that there's a bill due. Let me use part of this money to pay that bill. Little things. Little thing. And I strongly recommend this book, Atomic. We all know what an atom is, right? Little things. An atom, a lot of time you don't see atomic particles. You have to use a microscope to look at it. Little things, little changes. A big rock is made up of atoms, particles of atoms, and it grows big.
Well, I'm not about to follow that with nothing. You might as well go ahead and take us out. I will say this: you all definitely need to get that book. If you go on our Facebook page, that is, and I haven't put on the YouTube page in the community section. I'll put that in there. But get that book. It's amazing. I have the book also. I have the workbook. I have not used the workbook because I'm so funny. I'm so funny and so frugal. But there's the workbook with it where it guides you through accountability with what you're learning. So go ahead and expand your knowledge. There is so much room to grow and evolve and pay it forward and empower others. But it starts with you. So definitely take those small steps. We all love, like she said, we all love validation, but it doesn't matter if you don't love yourself. And when everything, how do you stand? So think about that. Are you grounded? And are you ready for the run? Are you ready for the journey? So, Queen, take us on out.
I read a portion of this book
Okay.
and then we'll end here. It says, imagine you are flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If a pilot leaving from Los Angeles adjusts the heading just 3.5 degrees south, he will land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. Such a small change is barely noticeable at takeoff. The nose of the airplane moves just a little bit. But when magnified across the entire United States, you end up hundreds of miles from where you originally set off to go. That small change, instead of ending up in New York, can end the plane in Washington, D.C. Think about it. Small changes can land you into amazing places. You may set off setting these small goals just to maybe be able to put food on the table, maybe to lose 5 or 10 pounds, maybe to get your children to do better in school. You say, I'm going to spend an hour every night with them doing homework, 30 minutes. I'm going to inspect, I'm going to look at everything. Whilst you're developing, reaching your goal of losing 15 pounds, what you don't know that you're developing muscle, you're gaining strength, your health is becoming better. You don't know all that. You're not thinking of all that. Your focus is just to lose weight and look nice. It may seem superficial, but your health benefits. You feel better. You don't only look better, you feel better. Maybe your doctor will tell you, oh, Edith, I don't think I'm going to wean you off that blood pressure pill. I'm going to wean you off that, whatever it is you're taking. You didn't settle for all that. There are benefits. You develop muscle, you become stronger and better, healthier. In everything we do, we develop muscle, not physical, to handle bigger and better things. So, no, it's never too late to start, and it's never too small. The key is consistency. The key is to have a plan. The key is to have something inside you're working for. Make those small changes.
Yes.
Maybe instead of eating an ice cream every night watching a movie, just say I'll eat ice cream 3 nights. And the other 4 nights, I'll eat an apple. I'll eat a fruit. I'll eat a berry. I'll eat something healthy. You're not giving up all of your ice cream. But it's as you begin to see the improvement, you realize that you are worth more. Your body is not garbage that you put everything inside. Your mind is not anybody's garbage that you allow everybody to dump things on. You learn to protect, you learn to create boundaries, you learn to build the wall that is needed so you don't become a dumping ground. So you become better. So you do better. It is important. Let's stop looking for what people will say. Let's start small. Let's be unseen. It's okay. But ultimately, your results will speak for itself. Thank you so much for taking the time. We love you and I appreciate you. This week, share your SMART goals with us. Share that one thing you know you can do, or a goal that you can follow up with a SMART goal. Share it with us that you can do and you keep at it. And let's talk about how we can grow and be better together. We love you and appreciate you, Queen.
Peace, love, and blessings. Until next Saturday, take care.